It's a movie. Facts. A movie. Facts. 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 Okay. The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grid, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts.
And that's facts though, I talk factos. Ask J Babe, I go Astro. Floating focused on my cash flow. We plant star seeds to make the grass grow. I'm a refloater, I do what I wanna. Stacking the winter, sunbathing the summer. My chakras align and I shock them like Blanco. Only Pope we acknowledge a nigga is Pablo.
At these events, I'm a god to my people. Got out the streets, yeah, we dodging a Rico. Game of roulette, I'm a casino. The game wasn't fair, yeah, the odds wasn't equal. Squad got the Chico, my squad got the Chico. Game in a drought, yeah, they starving the people. Blaming and doubt, make it harder to eat, yo. Not a placebo, that's not a placebo.
The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grid, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts.
Started in Richmond, art of my district. Heart of the mystics, started for biscuits. Father the isfits, martyr the misfits. God is my witness, God on my hate list. Moving the weight, we started with fitness. Moving with states, we art of the richest. Give me the blues, my heart is in Memphis. It's part of adventure, started my venture. The F is for food, the A is for art. The C is for clothes, I'm playing my part. T is for tech, I'm playing it smart. S is for shelter, I stay in the park. Acres on acres, get lost in the dark. We playing a part, we playing it smart. Facts.
Okay. The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grid, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts. It's a movie.
Yeah. That's the new sound effect. I gotta get red alert. Yeah. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Tuesdays, my niggas. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pill, soon to be joined by my co-host, Brother Blue Pillar. Give it up for the that part. Peace to the family. How's everybody doing up in here? Let's go ahead and quickly do the roll call and whatnot on this fine Tuesday. I hope all is well and everybody's in good spirits and health. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's get to it. My audio. How's the audio doing? Check my audio. Check the audio. How we doing on the audios? Be more in the building. West side of Harlem in the building. Portland, Oregon. You dig? All right. They said that it sounds good. DC. All right. Shrooms is legal. Baltimore. Be more up in this thing. Minnesota. Valdosta. You know what I'm saying? Minnesota. Daytona, Ohio. All right. Shout out to Daytona, Ohio. Be more in this thing. Seattle. San Francisco. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Cahokia Mounds. All right now. I see you. Louisiana. I see you. We got Mardi Gras around the corner, right? Okay. Phoenix, Arizona is where you be. Calypso. Yeah, tap in. We gotta talk about some things. Yeah, South Cackalack. I see you. BK in the building, ATL in the building. Yeah, that part. Easton, PA, wherever that is. Tremont, Nevada. Y'all already know my heart is in Memphis, Jersey, Naptown. You dig? Shout out to the family out there. VA in the building, New Haven, what's popping? Gwinnett County, don't drive through there black, what's popping? Cleveland in the building, Jersey, Norfolk, White Plains, Bama busy, Los Angeles, White Plains Road, you dig? Yeah, Colorado, So the family is in the building deep tonight, man. All I gotta say is shout out to everybody pulling up. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody pulling up. Salute, greetings. Stone Mountain in the building. Pardon me about yesterday. You know, I hate missing Mondays and whatnot. I know how that shit feels. You know what I'm saying? I know the feeling. Imagine if I came home and Video Music Box wasn't on. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. But I was on the road. You know, I like this setup right here. Oh shit. Hold on. Give me a minute. I like this setup. So, you know, I had to come back to my office and do it right. Give me a minute, y'all. Coming right now. Yeah, I had to get the lighting right. You know what I'm saying? I had to get the lighting right and shit. So we good. Hold on. Better now. Looking like mid-journey art right now. We looking like a mid-journey art. You just got you a new M1 MacBook. Oh yeah, you about to do damage. If you know, you know, right? You got that Pro M1. Yeah, get busy with that. You need the breakdown for you people. I didn't see that. I'm still contemplating if I want to see you know, homegirl in that position and whatnot. The commercial, the trailer alone gave me the hives and whatnot. I don't know if I want to subjugate myself to Lauren London getting knocked down by Jonah Hill and whatnot. I don't even want to think about that. You feel me? I don't know what that's gonna do to my mentals and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm still one of them black men to take shit like that personal. You know, I still haven't learned how to not take shit like that personal. You know, but yeah, man, the trailer was cringeworthy. I know Blue saw it. He has his sentiments about it. Matter of fact, let me not run my mouth too much. Without any further ado, I present to you my brother, your brother, our brother, none other, brother Blue Pillar 44. Up in this thing. Peace to the pillar.
Peace. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours.
Let's go with you, my brother.
I seen it.
Seen it, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. We're gonna jump straight into that because that's.
Is there spoiler alerts? Because I ain't seen it yet. I don't. Should I see it? Like, you know, there's a few movies that you've reviewed, and I was like, shit, I'm not going to see it. I haven't seen Black Panther. This was based off of like your review, KT's review. That shit was biased enough for me to be like, I ain't doing it.
Look, I learned a lot I learned a lot in this situation. And you listening to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is generational observational bias, right? The people that I'm getting pushback from, that's like y'all looking at it the wrong way. You know, they belong to a different generation, and it's telling of the changing of the times. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The changing of the times, the changing of the tides.
Right.
They really don't register the nuances. And I don't want to be disrespectful in my observations to say this is the generation that you could pee on their heads and tell them that it's raining.
Right.
I think that they're just a lot more like optimistic and like Aquarian. We are in
Real
Aquarius.
world, but they're more
Yeah,
Aquarian, you
yeah.
know,
So they're a little bit more fluid, and they
very
kind of
fluid.
they cool with everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
nothing is
like,
offensive.
yeah, nothing is offensive other than us
Nothing's
old
off the
niggas.
table.
Yeah, right.
Nothing is sacred, and that's crazy. But it's
Yeah.
like,
So there's nothing sacred. There's um nothing is offensive. Everything that they see is through rose-colored glasses, and that's a very optimistic perspective. But in the world that we live in, you're gonna get eaten alive by the wolves who do have, you know what I'm saying?
that's right, Candace. You could be on their head and they'll make it a podcast episode.
Yeah,
Like,
to make it a podcast, and they'll find a way to alchemize everything, that they cool with, you know what I'm saying? And again, like I said, that's a gift. That's a level of optimism, you know, that kind of speaks to the fact that that level of gratitude almost promises them, that they'll be here for a long time with energy like that. But in the midst of wolves, calculated wolves who have not forgotten, they're playing from the same playbook. You know what I'm
right.
saying? This was a high gloss rendition of um Guess Who's Coming to
Yes,
Dinner.
coming to dinner. Right.
And again, is the climate, once again, I'm getting pushed back like, damn, y'all in y'all feelings, y'all are too emotional. And I'm like, I was part of the same social zeitgeist, right, in the audience last year that we could not even, if I called those people you people, I would still be in censorship jail. So I'm like, it was a very touchy topic that you told us it was so offensive to those people's grandmothers, right? That we shouldn't bring it up just for the sake of, because you're reminding somebody's grandmother about the trauma. So let's not even bring this up. And I'm like, all right, cool. Granted, nobody's talking about our grandmothers. Nobody's talking
Right.
about
What's
how this
offensive to
can
them?
potentially be so offensive to us. So they opened up the movie, right? Speaking about the 44th president of these said countries possibly being a crackhead who smokes, I mean, possibly being a homosexual who smokes crack or does coke. Now,
Barry?
Barry, yeah.
Wow.
All, albeit, I remember those rumors.
Right.
Right?
That was
They was on the cover of the National Enquirer at the time
right.
that he was coming into office, and they spoke about, his boyfriend had got bodied to suppress
Larry
those
Sinclair.
secrets, right? Yeah, this generation don't know about that. They, were children at the time and not into quote unquote information and consciousness. It's not even something that we repeat. I just felt that it was very insensitive that you're gonna allow a gooish comedian, right, to be on a podcast with a member of the LGBT community who this president literally bent over backwards for, pause, pun intended, pause,
Right.
and then that be your opening monologue. You feel me? When that this person is supposed to be the spokesperson It was just so many violations in the first 20 minutes. Then they got to talking about Jewish slongs, right? Which I'm understanding. They tell me that this what this comedian does. You know, his
Jonah
name was
Hill.
his name was Ezra, which etymologically means helper or the help.
Mm.
Her name was Amira, which means the princess. So now the
Wow.
princess is
They
going for
named
the help.
Amira.
Amira, like our Umi's name. Yeah. So he looked like the work. I mean, they had this dude looking like fried hot dogs, bro. No, like when you cook the hot dogs too long and the water
Right.
gets real oily, but the skin
Or
might even
shriveling
start
up.
falling off. Yeah, he looked like that,
Hello?
right? And
Blue, are you there?
yeah, you don't
Well,
hear me,
before he comes back, I would recommend going. I was watching Wednesday. That's my shit. I binged on that whole series. Wednesday Adams. That I'm sure we're gonna have to do a Wednesday decoding one day.
you can't hear me,
But I'm one of those kids that grew up watching the Adams Family, so you know.
bro. You can't hear me.
Barry White, the White Barry. Oh, you said that you hear him? Oh, hold on.
Yeah, you don't hear me though. What's going on? Yo, hello, bro. Yeah, you got to refresh your shit. I don't know what's going on, buddy.
Hello, you there?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna leave and come back. I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay. Let me see why I can't hear you. I don't that's weird. That's never really happened before. Okay. Blue is gonna come right back. Now my headphones is plugged in. It is not the headphones. And I was told that I interrupted the young man while he was speaking. I didn't even hear his audio, and I didn't mean to talk over him, but I literally did not hear him. That part. Uh, let's wait for him to come back in. Is there a retrograde? Hell yeah, there's a retrograde.
Yo,
You there, Blue?
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I still can't hear you.
Come on, bro.
Can y'all hear Blue right now? Because I can't hear him.
Yeah, I think you can hear me.
All right, give me a
Yeah, they
minute.
can hear.
Give me a minute, Blue. Let me give me 1 second.
All right. Yeah, so we shall wait till he gets it together. Um, and I just want to preference like when I saw the trailer for this particular upcoming film back in the end of December, early January, I believe. I had made comments on it back then, so it's not like I'm jumping on a bandwagon. You feel me? And then my Wiz said that she made a comment on it and she got lambasted. You there? Because now I can't hear you. You there, right? Yeah, we can't hear you though.
I got my phone on mute
All
because
right.
I'm
So
listening
yeah.
to you through my phone.
All right.
So I
So
got my mic on mute. And then when it's my turn to talk, I'll unmute the mic, say something, then I got to mute it back again because I'm listening to you on my other
right.
device.
So I was preparing, for the webinar and the lecture. So I didn't really delve into anything. And then, my wiz, she was kind of rattled, and I was like, "What happened in Bay?" She's like, she had posted something um about the movie, and she got tore up in the comments. And I was like, "Oh, that movie is out," but I kind of knew it was out because I was looking at, people posting or saying stuff about it. So I was like, you know, let me look at it. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what's really going on. I had my suspicions, but I was like, let me check it out. And like I said, from the gate, from the door, it was just a violation. It just felt uncomfortable. And then it got worse progressively. You know what I'm saying? I just picked up on so many nuances and me understanding the slick underhandedness of how they package and present things as comedy to flow them through. you know, when you go to see movies, first of all, right, you are allowing things into your subconscious mind because you let your guards down, because you're there to be receptive. So you're not going into movies with an analytical mind. Your mind is open. When you laugh at things, though, that's a disarming technique. Once again, especially when you laugh at something and the joke's on you. You feel me? Um, and it was like I said, it was nonstop. I could go through a litany of things in the first 25 minutes. It was just non-cipher. You feel me? Oh, and then I had seen Mr. G say that he gave Sabi a shout out, and it was January 29th. And in my Sunday sermon, I was speaking about Genesis 129, which is what Sabi
Right.
lived by. So I was like, let me go see what the reference to Sabi was.
Right.
Specifically, because I know only a few of us know that Umi, my mama, Mama Pill, she lived with Eddie Murphy for a period of time when she was doing work on his father, because Eddie Murphy and them came to Sabi to help save the life of his father. And Sabi sent my mother to do the job, right? And my mother got close with Nicole Murphy at that time and was telling us a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes in that situation. So
Right.
it ain't like Eddie Murphy don't know about him. And then Eddie Murphy utilized Sabi as the prototype to make that movie. Baby, what was that movie name?
The
The one
guru,
with Eddie Murphy?
the
Holy
guru,
Man,
holy man.
right? Yeah, in the all white with the bald head. You feel me?
Right.
So it once again, it's not like this individual is not knowledgeable and mindful of the elder Asabi. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to see how this thing plays out. That was another reason, of course, and then one of the main reasons was the Nipsey factor.
Right.
When I tell you they lined my guy up, and it did not sit well with me, son. It did not sit well with me. You feel me? And then once again, me having to mind my business, but knowing more than I probably should. You dig what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I know certain things that was told to me directly.
Right.
So to see how she handling the situation and the way they lined my dude up, whether they did it in the editing or not, they lined my guy up. It was
Right.
foul.
That's
It was foul.
crazy.
They lined him up. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
And then just a heavy emphasis through the whole movie on the Crips. Cohen with a C. She thought the Crip. Yo, the shit was just, it was blasphemous, son. It was blasphemous. And again, this concept of neurocinematics, which I implore everybody to research,
Yeah.
especially the ones that say this is just entertainment. You are being entrained. Your brain
Right.
cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's not. So there's a whole science that goes into neurocinematics. Hence the fact that it's called the Motion Picture Academy of Arts and Sciences, right?
Fact.
When a movie is structured in particular, right, it is structured for a particular reason, for entrainment. Like all of the research papers say this is not a conspiracy. And the ones that work perfectly are the ones that work perfectly, like Avatar. The research that they did on neurocinematics primarily came out of Avatar, right? Because there's something called the Avatar effect. And
Right.
he did his neurosomatics so illmatic that is a movie that lived in people's heads for 13 years until this
It's
this
doing.
sequel,
Mm-hmm.
which had the potential to be one of the biggest movies on the planet, which I told you indelibly affected my dream state. I don't care what nobody say. My
Bro,
dream was not the same after I seen Avatar 2.
I cried. Talked about this weekend on a high level conversation. I cried. James Cameron was able to make me cry off of a CGI avatar character. He was able to elicit emotion out of a character that theoretically is not really human, even though it was captured by a mocap suit and everything. But yeah,
You embody the role of the actor, whether antagonist or protagonist, right? The way
right.
that neurocinematics work is you allow yourself to go on that role, right?
Yes.
And it is having an effect on what's called a parasympathetic nervous system, right? Based on the part of the brain that it's affecting, your parasympathetic nervous system is affected. Hence the fact that you feel fear, you feel happiness, right? You
All of
feel
those
guilt,
fleeting emotions.
right? All of those emotions are real. They register chemical effects in your body, which release whether endorphins or adrenaline or fear, right? All of those things are really registered in your body. You're not fake feeling it, you're really feeling it. Which even leads us to another observation that I made this Friday. A movie called Fear came out on January 27th. This movie was helmed by a lot of social justice warriors, T.I. being one of them, but there was a few others that are, part of the woke social zeitgeist and things of that nature, right?
Right.
Uh, so I'm gonna tell you what the caption of this particular movie was, right? And everybody's talking about how scary and fearful, right? This movie induces fear. It says your mind is the trap. Okay, that was the tagline for this movie. Your mind is the trap. So mind you, this movie comes out the same day that they release a 4-part series for the Tyree Nichols snuff film,
Right. The
of which
murder.
they
Online.
promoted, right? Which they promoted and hyped up like it was a movie release. People were having watch parties for a snuff film, right? Dealing with somebody physically getting murdered on film.
That's crazy.
Okay. And then go out to the movie theaters and see a movie called Fear or catch it through the rest of the weekend. So, in between hyping this movie up on red carpets and promoting it, said actors and promoters of it were getting on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and telling people to march in the streets and hit the streets. You feel me?
Right.
For this young man, but make sure that you go out and see Fear this weekend. God damn it.
Can I read the description of this movie that we're talking about entitled
Yeah.
Fear? Okay, so Tommy from Power is in it, first of all. Ladies, y'all know his real name, right? I don't even know how to pronounce that, but yeah, this is y'all boy. Your other boy, Terrence Jenkins, is here. Young Beta. T.I. is in the building. Dion Taylor is the director. What did Dion do before? Let's see. What's your work, Dion? Meet the Blacks in the House Next Door. Meet the Blacks. So he did Meet the Blacks, Fear, Fatally, Black and Blue, Supremacy. Yeah, he's an upstanding guy. This guy. Throw all of the chitlin shit at him. But here we go. Let's go. Let's play the trailer. What's the thing that you got to say before you play these things so they don't smack you with a infraction?
Oh, this is copyrighted. Fair
This
Trade Act and
copyrighted.
you know,
This is copyrighted by the Motion Picture Academy. Don't flag my page, bitch.
Now we got that out the way. All right. What the hell? What the hell? Hidden Empire.
Let's promise to be completely honest with one another.
We tell each other our most personal fears.
My biggest fear is drowning.
Oh, so now the camps, the outdoor
Claustrophobia.
campfire
Small,
ayahuasca
confined
ceremonies
spaces.
is being targeted.
It's something about blood.
My biggest fear is losing you.
Bullshit.
Believing what you fear will bring to the victim.
Lord God. Copyright for purposes of education only. Purposes of education only.
What they are afraid of.
What you doing?
What do you see? I see how I'm gonna die.
Let me out!
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's enough. I'm about to say, yeah, that's enough. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
The fuck? I'm good on you. That's enough, family. I could just see some millennium right now. Like, nah, man, play that shit, bro. Play that.
Yeah, so
Like The
Neuro-
Conjuring. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a whole line of movies like Annabelle, The Conjuring, everything after The Ring. I don't watch. Like, I'm old school horror movie. Like, I'm Jason, Freddy type shit. Like, I don't these new ones where they playing all of this shit with the camera and they inserting all of the, you know what I mean? And it's like stop go motion. I don't like those. I don't do that. Yeah, it does look like Saw. It's giving Saw, bro. It's giving Saw.
Yeah. So, I mean, me personally, I don't do horror film genre. That's not my thing. So I would be the wrong one, you know what I'm saying, to speak on it. I just,
Yeah. Alchemy Goddess. We need to decode him from you then.
yeah, I don't, like having to deal with the colonizer on a daily basis enough and shifting through history is that could be traumatizing enough. Like I do not go to purposeful, cinematic screenings where I'm allowing them into my mental like that. I just don't do it. I don't personally do it. So, and I don't get how the social justice warriors, they said that there's a redeeming message at the end about, faith and shit like that. But it's like, why I just don't make Christian films now?
Right. They put sugar on shit.
Yeah. That's where you at with it.
A pop.
Why? Yeah. Why we don't get nothing positive out of you people? Why y'all always dabbling and playing with darkness, but then always talking about it? Crazy.
Scared of the dark, right?
Yeah, but you scared of the dark, but you stay contributing to it and playing with it. You feel me? But then you want to protest against it. I don't get that. So, and then I read a whole passage about what is it, Deuteronomy 129, starting from 127, about, you know, not having fear, them coming amongst the giants, you know what I'm saying? Just like they did with this young man. You feel me?
Right.
And yeah, may he rest in peace. It's a tragic story. You
His
know what I'm
mama
saying?
said he had Crohn's disease. That's what this article is talking about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that made him
Lighter,
um,
you know.
lighter, thinner, right? Because
That's
I
yeah.
read people's messages and they was like he was a $150 soaking wet,
At
tall
six
and
three.
lanky brother at
Yeah, he's
6'3".
6'3".
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen various videos of him, on a skateboard. He looked like he was
Lean.
he was a prodigy. Not so much his body type, but just his skill set. He looked very skillful at that particular vocation, or
Oh, he was nice.
he was nice. He was nice.
Oh,
He was nice with it. You feel me? And again, I think that you was hitting on something earlier that I want to, continue a conversation about, and that was dealing with the fraternal aspects of the oaths. You feel me? The oath takers and the oath keepers, and all skin folk and kinfolk,
right.
simply because some people are not obliged to be. Their oaths, they have layers and layers before they get to you. Before you think that there's this autonomous solidarity amongst melanated people just because we got melanin in our skin, when other people are very much indebted to the oaths that they've taken, to the groups that they belong to. So with these officers, we see that the majority of them, well, we know that all of them off the break belong to the fraternity of police,
Yeah,
right?
fraternal order FA
Fraternal order FOP.
FOP.
And then another layer of their fraternal organizations is Omega Psi Phi, of which I think there's three of them that are members of that, right? The quarterback for the Eagles is a member of that. Ricky Smiley's a member of that, right? So it's a trifecta this whole weekend, dealing with Omega Psi Phi, who's ironically same colors as the Notre Ledge University logo, right? Right. I believe those are Q dogs, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. And then if a person takes on this mental oath, or allegiance to a particular religion,
Right.
that's another fraternal um organization. You know what I'm saying? That's another layer that comes between you and your brothers, you know. And again, ironically, we have these two teams going to the Super Bowl, one coming from the city of brotherly love and the other coming from the heart of America, or the heartland. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of which, like I said, the flex for both of these cities, or members that come from both of these cities, is not going to be the flex of brotherly love. The flex is going to be the murder rate, right? My city's more murderous than yours. There's
Yeah.
nothing else to talk about when it comes to these cities other than to brag and to boast about their murder rates and how
Facts.
treacherous they are, and which one is the killingest of the killingest fields for melanated people. There's a lot of work that each one of those cities need to do on their cities before they tout a team that, once again, is just a symbol, a sigil for an egregor that hovers over a municipality that belongs to a principality that goes back to Rome. Specifically, right? We could look at the city of Philadelphia, because ironically, Philadelphia and Kansas City is both on the 39-degree parallel line. Okay.
Talk about it.
Both of them is tied in the same way that Cincinnati is tied into the 39-degree. Feel me?
Right.
So all of that shit goes back to Rome. At the end of the day, Philadelphia is Philadelphia because of the Bible. It's a revelation city. It's a scorpion city with a team called the Eagles that are going to Phoenix, right? But the Eagles and the Chiefs are the same thing, right? Hence the fact that when I said what happened with the Pope on July 25th, 2022, when he was in Canada, the big chiefs, right, put the eagle crown on him
on his
and
head.
decapitated him on a day at a time, right? Y'all can get a bone for that. I can get a bone for that. So we look at the two obvious teams that are connected to the church get taken out, that being Cincinnati, right? Because Cincinnati is 7 Hills, which means Rome itself. And we see San Francisco 49ers. So the 49ers or the Friars, the San Franciscan Friars, right, are from Rome, which would be Cincinnati. On surface, they both get taken out. Okay? They both get taken out. But now we're left with the unobvious connections, which would be the Chiefs and the Eagles or Philadelphia. Nigga, neither one of those teams belong to melanated people or are under the control or the dominion or domination of melanated people. They all have storied past about melanated people that got hit over the head, right? Like Hiram Abiff, who was the king of Tyre or comes from the city of Tyre, right? And put in a shallow grave. He got killed by the ruffians for the secret, right? And put in the shallow grave. But can't nobody say that, you know, these are not melanated cities, just like Atlanta ain't a melanated city. You feel me? They're both under the dominion of Masonic Catholic rule of thumb, specifically Kansas City, which was a city that was founded by a Catholic order, point blank, period. And then we know that for the most part, Pennsylvania was founded by William Penn, who didn't necessarily belong to a Catholic order, right? And we can't say necessarily even if it was Masonic per se, but we know that there's no city more Masonic than Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle of that shit.
And we know about all of those Catholic cathedrals that run through Philadelphia as well. Plus, we know that it's invoking Revelations, point blank, period.
And shout out to Ross Ben. I'm sorry, bro.
Shout out to Ross Ben, of course.
And
there
his
is no
team.
stronger denomination that comes into New Testament Christianity or what they call Pauline Christianity other than Catholics who are 2.5 billion deep in the world. And the Pope is on the world tour right now in the Congo, right? Doing what he do. You feel me? Playing on the global stage as the woke Pope, making platitudes, right? Making platitudes to the public.
Right. They say this is his the first papal visit to the DRC since 1985.
Bro.
You dig?
I wonder why.
The clip?
Yeah, of course.
Pope Francis begins his much anticipated trip to the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan today. For the Vatican, this trip is seen as an opportunity to focus on the long drawn-out conflicts that have torn these two countries apart. But it also is an acknowledgement of the importance that Africa plays in the Catholic Church and its future. Our correspondent Emmanuel Akinwotu joins us from Lagos, Nigeria. So how important is this visit for the Vatican and for the Pope?
Good morning, and hugely. You know, this is where the church sees much of its future.
Hard for the minerals,
20%
boy.
of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics are here on the continent, and it's the fastest growing part of the Catholic Church. And as it grows, it's going to have a greater sway on its identity. You know, anyone who's attended Mass in the West and here in many parts of Africa knows that Catholicism here usually brings a different energy and sense of spirituality. Then specifically with the Democratic Republic of Congo, close to half of its people, 95 million people, are Catholics. And for many people, the church functions like the state. DRC has the highest number of Catholic health centers in Africa, and its bishops have a lot of social and political influence. So the conflicts there and in South Sudan are really at the core of this visit, and the Pope has called this his pilgrimage of peace.
So what kind of an impact do you think his presence will likely have on both countries?
I mean, it's a box office moment. Thousands of people have been gradually arriving into the capital from other cities and townships to see him and hopefully attend mass. His trip to the DRC will be the first papal visit since Pope John Paul in 1985. The country was still called Zaire then and run by a dictator. So it's been a long time. He's going to be meeting victims of violence from Eastern DRC on Wednesday, and that really shines a light on the conflict there. The Tutsi-led M23 rebel group have been leading this bloody offensive, and it risks sparking a war between Rwanda and the DRC. Then for South Sudan, it's going to be the first ever papal visit to a really young country where Catholics are about 40% of people there. South Sudan became independent in 2011 after years of conflict. Then there was a civil war, and despite a 2018 peace deal, there's still a lot of unrest and a huge refugee crisis of about 2 million refugees.
The Pope lately has made some statements that have been seen as progressive or more progressive than normal for a Pope. How will those statements be taken in Africa?
It's complicated. Obviously, as you said, just last week, Pope Francis said that laws which criminalize homosexuality were unjust. But the African church is more socially conservative on certain issues, such as around sexuality and divorce. And broadly, the clergy in Africa are not as fond of him, maybe as they were of the more conservative predecessor, Pope Benedict. But at the same time, his more left-wing messages on the poor, the marginalized, on capitalism, on plundering mineral resources in Africa, these things resonate hugely here and are part of what make him to be more beloved.
That's NPR's Emmanuel Akinwotu in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right there. Like I
And
said,
now more from NPR.
for that reason alone, y'all need to go and buy your tickets for KTL University, When in Rome, Part 3. He qualified damn near every single thing that I said at the end of my quantum quickening lecture. I said When in Rome is going to be about. I didn't know about all of this, right? But I do, and it lines up with the Aquarian season. I said that the battle of the entire church is going to be fixated around the Aquarian age, which will kick off an Aquarian season, which will deal with homosexuality, the fluidity of the church, whether they remain rigid or go fluid, right? They have a crosshair on his back because the conservative people who ran with Benedict Paws, right, are like, yo, we got to get this dude out of here. He's going to make he's the woke Pope. We're not trying to be woke.
Right.
We need to be more conservative. We need to be more traditional. We need to put the yoke down on these people while we got them, because if we lose them, they're going to be lost forever. I also was the one that said that the next Pope will be from Africa or Haitian, right?
Definitely did.
The emphasis is on Africa only. That's the only place the Christianity is growing. Nowhere else on the planet is Christianity growing, in particular Catholicism. Right? It's the fact that he has to go to the Congo. I wish I could tell you more, but I can't. Right? They have to merge this aspect of African traditional spirituality. They're at war with it. They're either going to merge it or they have to stomp it out in order for them to subsist and continue into the future. Right? I showed you that the head dude of Yoruba just in early January said that Jesus Christ is Lord. That's big.
Right.
So there's so many things that are conflating this situation. There's so many things that comes into the presence of the Pope on the continent of Africa, aligning with this lecture of When in Rome 3. Like I said, man, people was just at this point, you feel me? And the only thing niggas want me to tell them is who's going to win the Super Bowl. I'm like, come on, fam. Come on, fam.
It got to be more than that.
It got to be more than that.
Nah, but just adding on to, you know, the allure of or the magic that goes into these titles or these lectures that we put together. Like you get to see it in real time organically.
No,
You get
yeah, specifically I said brick by brick, we're gonna build this shit out into the day of. And I promise you, every day I said I'll give you papal news every day. Now the fucking Vatican ain't been as active ever.
right. They in the news every effing other day, my nigga. Like I
Ever.
promise, and it ain't no regular stories either. It's some shit that shakes the room.
Yeah, this is paradigm shifting news stories every single day. You
That's a
feel
fact.
me? Every single day. This nigga's making shifts, right? Every single day. They are in the news in the wildest of ways, lining this narrative up. You feel me?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you know, we finna pin the tail on the donkey come February 13th, 2023. And of course, like I said, the Super Bowl has heavy implications. But just like you seen in Memphis with the Scorpion unit, right? They're having brothers fight brothers and nobody wins but the colonizer, right? And the same with this game. You're gonna have two melanated quarterbacks fighting one another for supremacy, and the towns going against one another, bragging about their murder rates, and nobody's finna benefit from that, but the owners and whoever is channeling all of that energy coming from the egregors that reign over these municipalities.
Ugh.
Okay. And the egregor that reigns over the municipality of Philadelphia, nigga, is not the Muslims that populate Philadelphia. It is Rome. And it's the same with Kansas City, Missouri, because Missouri ties directly into St. Louis, and St. Louis ties into the St. Louis Cathedral down in Mississippi in New Orleans, where the last Super Bowl 10 years ago took place with Kaepernick.
Super facts. It's all coming together, bro. This sister wants to know, what about the green comet passing the Earth that hasn't been here since the Stone Age, and it's supposed to be closest on the 2nd? I've been hearing about that too. That's the anniversary to the crystal convergence.
Yes, that's our anniversary.
Meta took a dive.
Yeah, that's when we kicked a hole in Meta when we did our Metaverse presentation and said on stage, look, man, we're about to, you know, tank this whole Meta situation. It was a bold claim, but no more than 4 or 5 hours after that bold claim, it happened.
It's a fact.
It happened.
That was a real bold claim. Let that shit not came true. They would have been on your neck. Pause.
And that's, you know, like I said, they show up for shit like that. They're gonna show up to clown you and throw eggs at you, but they never show up with the applause. Like, damn, you niggas is on one.
Ugh.
Let me get 4 tickets.
Ugh.
See what the fuck is up next. But anyway, the comet, the green comet, which has already been observed. You know, I've seen people post footage of it. You know what I'm saying? Anytime a comet appears, like when a Hale-Bopp comet appears, they say that that's like Christ-like energy, you know, the coming of, you know, the coming of, or the second coming of, or whatever you want to term and you know what I'm saying, typify it as. Hence the fact, like, think about it like this. They said that water came on a comet, right?
Right.
You feel me? They said that water came on the comet into this
water came to
solar system.
It's a big ass comet. That's a lot of water on this planet.
So comets, yeah. Comets bring many things. Comets symbolically represent many things. A green comet is unprecedented. You know what I'm saying? A green comet is unprecedented. So yeah, you know, the color green represents heart energy. You feel me?
Yes.
So I would imagine that we would be seeing something that correlates and speaks to that motif. Ironically, I think that Friday, if it appears on Friday, Friday is the day of Islam. The color of Islam is green because of the star of Venus and the element of copper. So if it shows up on a Friday, that's gonna be some real deep revelations. You might want to see what's taking place over in the Middle East because they're in a civil war right now with Israel. Ironically enough, they just blew the mosque up in Pakistan and killed 44 plus people. But this is on the tail end of them shooting up a synagogue in Israel last week. So they're kicking up dust over there.
Right. Yeah, they
You know what I'm
building it up,
saying?
guys. They building it up.
Yeah, they're building it up. You know what I'm saying? It's about to hit the pressure cooker, and the Pope in Africa is not going to do any good. On top of that, there's going to be some sort of incidents that kick off because there's Congo's an active war scene right now. Did you see the footage? Like on
where they clearing out villages
very
for
active.
the miners. Yeah. Bars be posting.
They're clearing out villages. It's a very aggressive war scene. You know, the popes represent the corporations. I don't care what the woke pope say out of his mouth. You know, the only reason that they're able to do what they're doing in Africa on the continent is because of the Intercaterra, which is the doctrine of discovery passed in 1493, right? And then everything else coming out of the Berlin Conference. So if he wants to bring peace to the continent and stop the civil wars, then he has to speak to the corporations and he has to rescind the doctrine of discovery. Anything else is cap. And we're in a season of cap, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, right? So they're gonna give you cap right now.
He's going in to lock down.
You feel me?
100-year. He's going to the Congo specifically, right? Because of the tug of war that China and America are going through over those resources that have been forecasted that's going to help move the quote unquote civilized world, which means Europe, because Europe can't be in favor of China over America. You know what I'm talking about? Rome can't be riding with China or Russia. They're gonna ride for their quote unquote their lackeys, and that's the USA.
Yeah.
So he's going over there to talk to the leadership, the big dogs, and be like, look, bring the leaders of industry to me. I gotta talk to y'all. This ain't time to be riding the fence. What is it gonna be? We got to get China the fuck up out of here. Let's go. Stop giving them access.
And
you know what I mean? My children, my sons.
One of the last slides that we showed in our quantum quickening lecture is when and I'm gonna put, because I haven't even shared that in public, is when the Pope met with the leaders of AI. He met with open AI leaders. He met the leaders of Microsoft.
Yes.
And he met with the leaders of open AI. They specifically said that they didn't invite Apple and they didn't invite Google. You feel me? And they said that what? Rome is in charge for the ethic, the code ethics to come out of the code of ethics that pertain to all AI are written by the Vatican. You feel me? So now he goes to consolidate the chip industry, of which they're going to need for the quantum race against China, because they consider China to be one, communist, two, godless. And his beef primarily is with Russia, because that's where the church is splitting. You feel me? The church, there's a spiritual war going on in Ukraine. That's just not a war for territory. Yeah, the Greek Orthodox, which have their own pope, they already split. You know what I'm saying? Middle finger in them. They was trying to knock dude off because he be putting out hits. Right? Pope John Paul, if you watch the Vatican Girl documentary, right? Pope John Paul II, he was illegally funding paramilitary troops out of Poland to knock off the Russians and to destabilize the Soviet Union. At the same time, Ronald Reagan was funding paramilitary operations in Nicaragua to knock off communists, and created the crack cocaine motherfucking epidemic.
Right.
Yeah, and Lisa Marie Presley isn't a Graceland in Memphis.
Mm.
So
Damn.
look, you lose the Devil's Daughter on the 2nd.
Gangsta
right? Shout out to Gangsta Boo. Right? The Devil Daughter passes in Memphis on the 2nd. Lisa Marie passes on whatever date did she pass. But she wasn't in Memphis, but she's still tied into Memphis royalty, right? The White King.
Right.
A few days after the 55th anniversary of when MLK got his head blown off in Memphis. Memphis is where kings go to die. It's a funerary city named after the funerary city in Kemet,
right?
Which is along the Delta now, with Memphis being along what? The Mississippi Delta, right? The Scorpion Task Force that was formulated in November of 21 in Scorpio, right? It was responsible for killing a young man named Tyree, who's named after one. King Tyree in the Bible is one description. We'll get into that at some point. And then the town of Tyree is where Hiram Abiff comes from. In fraternal Masonic organizations, Hiram Abiff is the master architect who gets hit over his head 3 times by the ruffians and killed and put into the shallow grave for the secrets. So you can't enter Masonic Lodge without knowing a token or a grip and accessing the secrets. No, yeah, Gangsta Boo was day 2 though, from what I remember. Or could have been day 1. Let's say, all right, she set the New York, right? And make sure peace. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, King Tyree, Ezekiel 28. They're actually talking about Shaitan, and I don't want to make that cross connection and correlation to this young man's life because he seemed like he was a beautiful soul. You feel me?
Yes.
But at the same time, that's a city that has taken on, once again, the facade or the energy or the identification of 666 energy.
Remember, she died on New Year's, bro. She brought in the New Year's and died of the OD when everybody was, on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, people would be popping pills, getting coked up, skied up. Yeah, she died on the first day of 23, the Devil's Daughter.
Okay. So, 38 mil life insurance on Lisa Marie.
Boom.
Jesus.
Shit.
Yeah, so, these daughters, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know about any fraternal order that Tyree's parents were in. I didn't say speak on that. I said that symbolically, historically, in the Bible, the king Hiram Abiff comes from the town of Tyree. And there's also a story in the Bible about King Tyree, which you can go to Ezekiel 28 and read yourself. It's a very deep story. In the story of King Tyree in the Bible, that's actually talking about Shaitan, because they said that he got cast from heaven. He was a cherubim in the gardens. He was bejeweled with the finest of jewels. He was the most attractive, but he was boastful. And he said that he was a god. And he said, you're going to die. I'm going to embarrass you and make you die painfully in front of the world. Feel me?
Right.
So I just said, you got to watch what you name your children. You got to watch the energy with that these names have that they go along with them. Feel me? So,
yes,
yeah, y'all going hard for Priscilla. Yeah, I wasn't hip to the Priscilla conspiracies and all of that.
Priscilla TikTok. Come on now.
Oh, what, she got a Priscilla TikTok?
No, I'm just saying you gotta it's when you gotta know how to do your TikTok searches. You just hashtag Priscilla Presley. You know what I mean? You just put the names Lisa Marie hashtag, and it will give you everything you need.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. So I'm not that hip, but now I gotta go and because it's obviously a connection with this Memphis energy.
Yeah, we gotta look into that.
So yeah, this whole aspect. And like I said, Philadelphia is a city that was formed October 25th in Scorpio. It's a scorpionic city. You feel me? Dealing with the eagle, and they're headed to Phoenix.
Yes.
You dig what I'm saying? Once again,
Eagle is headed to Phoenix. That's crazy. That's as Scorpio as you could get.
Yeah, we see the Chiefs battling the Eagles, right? Once again, you got indigenous people banging on indigenous people.
Right.
Sounds like Instagram. You feel me?
Sounds like the gram, my nigga. Sounds like YouTube these days. Feather on feather.
Feather versus feather.
Yeah, I'm side betting against you, feathers. Feathers versus tethers. Hold on.
Yeah, feathers versus tethers.
And to this day, you don't find that suspicious. To this day, you don't find that suspicious. To this day,
feathers versus
to this day, to this day, to this day, to this day.
Feathers versus tethers, and nobody stands to benefit. You know what I'm saying? Once again, but the colonizers or the owners or the operators. You feel me? But these niggas gonna have all of this fan loyalty and allegiance to teams, that they're gonna be pom-pom and cheerleading for, that nobody has no ownership or stock in. And both them cities fucked up. They really need the passion that these people are putting into sports. They needed to be put into the children. They needed to be put into the neighborhoods. They needed to be put into, just getting in between the bullshit that exists in these particular locales. Like, when the game is over, you're gonna go back to what? Bragging and boasting and beating your chest like you actually caught a W.
Right.
No, you being spirit cooked by these principalities to harness the energy to bring in the next pope. Because this pope ain't gonna make it to October. I very much doubt that. There's way too much on the line. And they fucking with the big time because those the Vatican bank cases, yeah, they in prime time right now. They're about to unearth, when he came in and replaced Benedict, he had put the special counsel in place to find out, to continue, the inquiries about
audits.
The audits, yeah. And then look, he just met with the Order of Malta on on January, right before he went to the Congo. He met with the Order of Malta, right? The Maltese. Now, the Maltese are a sovereign subset of the Catholic Church, as is the Vatican City is sovereign on this planet. You feel me? You understand what I'm saying? They're so powerful. Yeah. Right.
Look, there you go.
Yes. Right.
Look how homie looking at the Pope.
Nah, they mad suspect of him because they said he's threatening their sovereignty. Right. Wow. So they don't fuck with him. Wow. They on the side.
Giving him that look. Look, he giving him that look. Like they about to line you up.
Look, not just him. Look at his homies. Look how they looking at him.
Like he's a lick.
He's the op, my G.
Word. That's a scary picture. Let me move this. I'm gonna put this in Mid-Journey. We're gonna add horns to these niggas. How about that? Yeah, they look real.
Concerns have been raised throughout the reform process that some of Pope Francis's actions threaten the Order of Malta's sovereignty. So look at these niggas right here. They're sitting back enjoying sovereignty. They're non-prosecutorial, right? And because they are sovereign, they have their own banks. So he's picking and meddling and trying to find out where the money's at and who's who and what's what, and nobody likes it.
Right.
Pope Francis addressed the topic of the order's sovereignty in a January 30th meeting. So he met with them yesterday.
Ugh.
Noting that it is an entirely singular sovereignty assumed over the centuries and confirmed by the wills of the popes. It enables you to make generous and demanding gestures of solidarity, putting yourself close to those most in need under international diplomatic legal protection, he added. These niggas is untouchable. Right? He also encouraged the Order of Malta to strengthen its unity in order not to compromise the fulfillment of the group's charitable mission. The evil one encourages division, he said. Let us be careful not to compromise with the temper, even unintentionally. He often deceives under the guise of good, and what may appear to be for the glory of God may turn out to be our own vainglory. Whoo! Conflict and opposition on your mission. Lust for power and other worldly attachments turn you away from Christ. They are temptations to be rejected, Pope Francis said. Let us remember the rich young man in the gospel who, though moved by good intentions, failed to follow Jesus because he was attached to his own things and interests. He's talking about Tyree. Now, let me show you, my nigga, they cooking. Whoo, hold on. I don't give a fuck what nobody say.
Vainglorious.
Get the tickets, man. They out here cooking. Wait, let me show you. Look. I'm gonna show you right now.
Right.
A prophecy against the king of Tyre. This is Ezekiel 28. Right? Who's he talking
Corinthians. You want me to pull it up? Hold on. I'm on my Corinthians shit. Where we at?
Ezekiel 28.
Ezekiel.
Who could he possibly be talking about?
Oh my goodness. A prophecy against
these niggas in there, black and gold.
That rhyme with Kyrie.
Look, you ready?
Yeah.
Prophecy against the prince of Tyre, because that's a king, right? The word of the Lord came to me, son of man, say to the ruler of Tyre, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart, you say, I am a God. I sit on the throne of a God in the heart of the seas, because Tyre is a Phoenician city that's next to the sea, right?
Right.
But you are a mere mortal and not a God, though you think you are as wise as a God. Are you wiser than Daniel? Is no secret hidden from you? Remember what I said about the secret? It was a Piscean moon dealing with secrets, dealing with illusions.
Right.
Right. By your wisdom and understanding, you have gained wealth for yourself and amassed gold and silver in your treasuries. But your great skill in trading, by your great skill in trading, you have increased your wealth. And because of your wealth, your heart has grown proud. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Because you think you are wise as a God, I am going to bring foreigners against you, the most ruthless of nations. They will draw their swords against your beauty and wisdom and pierce your shining splendor. They will bring you down to the pit, and you will die a violent death in the heart of the seas. Will you then say, I am a God in the presence of those who kill you? You will be but a mortal, not a God, in the hands of those who slay you. You will die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners. I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. Right? So, hold on. I ain't finished.
You don't find that suspicious?
Go ahead.
Because they just talk about sovereignty, right? In this sovereign body of people. In the words of the Lord, the word of the Lord came to me, son of man, take up the lament concerning the king of Tyre and say to him, this is what the sovereign Lord says. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you. Carnelian, chrysolite and emerald, topaz, onyx and jasper, lapis lazuli, turquoise and beryl. Your settings and mountains were made of gold. On the day you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub. So I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God. You walked amongst the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the days you were created till wickedness was found in you.
Ugh.
Through your widespread trade, you were filled with violence and you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, guardian cherub, from amongst the fiery stones. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings. By your many sins and dishonest trade, you have desecrated your sanctuaries. So I made a fire come out from you, and it consumed you, and I reduced you to ashes on the ground in the sight of all who were watching. All the nations who knew you are appalled at you. You have come to a horrible end and will be no more.
Damn.
Family. Yeah.
You don't find that suspicious.
Don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. Be very mindful of what you name your children.
Damn.
Feel me? Now go to the internet and pull up Gomar Dubar.
You talking to me?
Yeah. All right, go to the images. They were like God body shit up there. Hold on.
Gotta sift through all this God body shit, bro.
Yeah, go down a little more. Put Masonic. Yeah.
All these Gomez ass niggas. Spotify Gomez ass niggas.
Yeah, click on that one. Nah, the other one, the yellow one.
Ugh.
There you go. There you go. Shit ugly, man. Shit ugly, man. Feel me?
Strength. Man,
That's the
strength.
middle pillar.
The middle pillar.
That's the unseen, right? Again,
Right.
like I said, hiding in plain sight, Piscean, shit that you don't see, illusionary. I'm not saying don't mourn and feel how you feel, but there's more than meets the eye. And that was one hell of a Masonic ritual that they performed right there in Memphis, of all places.
Right. That's a fact.
So yeah, man, it's way too much going on to be blind out here. Buy your tickets. I kid you not, because shit, we ain't even get into February yet. It's about to cook.
It's really about to cook. This shit is just warming up.
It's about to cook.
It's about to cookington. But
and
yeah,
then
man.
we're getting into Pisces, right? Then we're going into the season of Pisces.
Right.
So, and you know, the astrologers, they could give you all of the alignments and shit what's taking place. But I just know enough to say, you know, I'll be listening to my spirit and it be like, yo,
That's a fact. That's a fact. 302 electrical. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. My whole thing is like, you gotta bring receipts right now, because I got receipts the size of a phone book, and bold claims require receipts. Like, show me what you got, bring it to the table, because I don't be out here prophylaxing nothing that I can't show and prove. I just wouldn't even do that these days. It's dangerous. And dudes be making hellified claims. I'm like, all right, cool. Show me the receipts, man.
Give me a book, my nigga.
Yeah, niggas be in my inbox with that Q shit too much.
Oh, they have you doing 10.
Yeah, John said, chill, son. Yeah, we're not doing that. Like,
John the Don has said,
show me your receipts. My sis don't. Yeah, I don't take 72 hours to produce.
Yo, Jesse the Body Ventura has said,
Where's John John's receipts, bro?
Dawn of a new age, of a new Middle East. the Abraham Accords. You got Israel in there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dive into this a little bit. I'm gonna dig into this. I don't have the. Dig into this. See what's going on here.
See Netanyahu. Look at my dude's curl over. That shit crazy. Look at the aerodynamics of it. It's like they made that shit in Procreate, one of them brushes.
Bahrain, Israel, UAE, and Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll look into it. Yeah, man. But yeah, let's wrap this up though.
Yeah. Too much sauce. Like, get the tickets, ktlusuniversity.com. When in Rome 3. It's already prophecy foretold. It ain't even been rolled out yet, and it already got a stamp on it. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, it's finna cook. They just came out with the statistics. They said 44 players from the NFL have died since 2021.
What?
44 current or former NFL players aged 50 or younger have died since the start of 2021.
What's the curse at the NFL?
Feel me?
Damn, that's like that's like a movie, my nigga.
Bro, like I say, it's more than meets the eye. You know what I'm saying? I can show you better than I can tell you. I've been told y'all the NFL is a 44 resonator. I mean, that's 1,000 times over. Google Robert Goodell 44 million or 44 and see how many references pop up.
I'm gonna talk to my team. We gotta start making some TikTok videos for you, my nigga. You be going in. Yeah, your research is unparalleled. They're the toughest of the tough, but when their NFL teammates started dying, these men grew afraid. More than 40 current or former pro players aged 50 or younger have fallen since 2020. These niggas is lined up with the rappers.
You don't
nobody talk about it. Feel me?
You don't find that suspicious?
Nobody.
You don't find that suspicious?
These niggas pulling drill numbers. What we doing? Huh?
And ain't nobody reporting. I said,
hell no.
ktlusuniversity.com. You feel me? Get your tickets. You know what I mean? So we can make it make sense. You feel me? And we can serve up this dish. And yeah. Let's go. This is, I want to acknowledge the elder
Big
Elbert Blair. This is his 7-year anniversary of his transition, actually.
To the day?
To the day, yes.
Wow, damn.
7 years ago, on January 31st, our elder made transition. We want to hail up the name and the legacy and the life of our elder, our good brother,
Baba Delbert. Yeah, that was our OG right there. He believed in us strong. Nah, he did more than believe in us. He supported us.
He supported. He held us down.
He knew who he was. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
One of our first major cosigns.
He was KTL alum.
Facts.
To this day. To this day.
It's a super fact. Yeah, y'all. KTL University. I feel like throwing a deal in there. This is what we're gonna do, because we just had a powerful class, a powerful situation, right? We just did this on Sunday, right? I had a Saturday date on Almighty Intelligence, but I got booked last minute to do a high-level conversations in Houston, Texas, talking about AI, So I had to push this back to Sunday because the timing of everything did not coincide. And I'm glad that I did that because a lot of the information that I got from the high level conversation, I was able to interject that into Almighty Intelligence. Even up to now, today I've been adding in new information for everybody who has their ticket. When you go back into Podia, if you check it out, I attached a PDF with super prompts, Chat GPT and Mid Journey super prompts. I attached that so you guys have access to that. Shout out to all of my Patreons. I've been blessing my Patreons. I've been dumping information like an MFA. I'm talking about I've been ODing on Patreon. The shit is like a whole book over there. If y'all get the ticket for When in Rome, anybody that did not go to this class, I'm throwing that shit in for free. Throwing it in for free.
You don't find that suspicious?
So if you get this today, I'm not doing that. I'm only doing that for today. I'm not going to be doing that forever. This is a today offer. Anybody that gets the When in Rome tickets also gets a free copy of Almighty Intelligence. I went about 4 to 5 hours. Mad information. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of value. Huh?
That was dope. That was hella dope. A lot of information. You know, I want to applaud you for scraping the internet and you know, gathering all of that information and putting it in a coherent, cohesive format where it's easily digestible. Come mañana, we're gonna kick off Black Future Month.
Yes,
and we're gonna be rolling out. Yeah, we're gonna be rolling out some of these futuristic real-time products that we have developed utilizing technology. Shout out to my brother Human. You know, he got Human GPT coming out, which is the conscious version. We already trained this shit up. You know, yeah, like niggas bumping their gums. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, we about to turn
you know, you can go in there and ask the deep indelible questions. You're gonna get, you know what I'm saying, indelible deep responses. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of tech, a lot of breakthroughs, metaverse, a whole bunch of stuff. You know, we're gonna be rolling out in February, and
Black Future
as
Month.
well. Yeah, Black Future. One of the beautiful things about our elder, Dr. Delbert Blair, it's been 7 years in a 7-year. Right, this is a 7-year. He transitioned 7 years ago, and his born day is the day of the lecture. Right, 213. Yeah.
So we can
you know, our
cater to him.
Yeah, he's our spiritual Baba. You know, we phenotypically resemble one another. He was the first person that made me comfortable with my alien encounters. And I heard about him before I met him. Shout out to my brother Robert Smalls and Hank Rosinson, and Lester Love. I remember I was with them in 2001, and they told me about Delbert and his encounters in the 50s. I think he said that he had, at this time, I had already had an encounter in 2000, I think, when I was in LA, I think around Sabi and them, or with Modog, something like that. Weird shit was happening. Weird shit had been happening before that, but I wasn't like 100% confirmed that that's what it was until we went on that trip on that boardwalk with Modog.
Right.
And I seen a fucking reptilian.
In the beach.
Yeah. I got, my mind blown. And shit ain't never been the same since. But Delbert, hearing his story and his sacrifices, because he lost his whiz and everything. So that, it was real for him. It just wasn't something that he was just fantasizing about. Like the MIB was on his case.
Right.
You feel me? But he gave me confidence to live in my truth about these things that was happening.
Right.
And in 2010.
Yeah, Trina, tomorrow on Instagram for the first day of Black Future Month, just to give all praises and due to the Afrofuturist. I think me and Blue will do an IG live where he'll go through his alien encounter, so we could start out Black Future Month correctly, you know what I mean? Because our aim for the month of February is to do futuristic shit and to highlight things that are going to really put us in the mind state of our true godhood, you know what I'm saying, and stop thinking at such a small scale. We're going to think forward motion. No offense to the looking behind, because this whole thing is centrifugal, but we are going to focus on the cycle and that part. So yeah. Let them know where they could get in touch with you, Blue. Let them know where they could tap in with you.
Oh, please, family. And this is so important. And I have to do a whole presentation on my IG about this maybe tomorrow as well. I'm only to be found at Blue Pillar 44, PILLAR. There's somebody that told me that they got booked for a rack, right, by a scam page. They're landing on these farcical pages, and these niggas finesse gamers on 1,000 or something, because I can't get these niggas to buy tickets.
You feel me? They using
For
Nigerian GPT. They using scam GPT. It's when you learn about dead ass. When you learn about online market, they're using formulas. There's specific formulas that they're using to entice people to basically to capture leads and to convert them. They're using tried and true online marketer formages to scam the people, bro. That's why they're pulling out. People is dropping racks. They won't even drop 44. They won't even drop $4 on a Cash App, my nigga, just to say thank you for your information. But they getting booked on IG, and I got booked for five band. No, I got booked, bro. I got booked so hard that I did not want to talk to the lady who I got booked. Like, I was mad at her. She didn't do nothing. I just was like, you know what? I'm ending this relationship with you right now because you can't give me my money back. I got booked thinking that my heart was feeling for you. My heart was in Memphis. And because I care about you so much, nigga, I got booked. And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. So I know the resentment that people will begin to have if they keep getting booked by these pages.
Someone's like, I was through with you. I was through with Brother Rich. You feel me? He was like, my son told me, like, nah, that's not the right page. And he helped me find a real page. And dude made an appeal. He was like, publicize my case. Let it be known. There's people out here doing your brand and your name dirty because they booking people. And I gotta hire them niggas to teach me marketing because they better at my name and my brand and I.
Facts. And then to add insult to injury, when you call the bank, that was the shit that pushed me over the edge. I tried to send it through Zelle. Zelle threw the warning up, like, nah, this is looking suspicious, right? So then I hit the person back, like, damn, it ain't going through. Zelle is saying that this shit is not right. They was like, nah, you could go through Cash App. We good. I went through Cash App and got booked. I called Cash App up, like, yo, Cash App, I got booked. It was like, nigga, take that book and you know what I'm saying? Take it with a stride, because there's nothing that we could do. I was like, are you serious? They was like, yeah, because if that was the case, niggas would sit at home all day and say that they got booked, you know what I mean? And take our money from us. They was like, no, you got booked from fishing. That's with a PH. You got to wear that. And when they told me that, nigga, I'm a grown ass man. I cried in front of my 2-year-old. I was like, oh, you gotta help me. Nah, I'm exaggerating, but I was crushed though. I was crushed. I felt like a nigga done. I would rather somebody just snatch my chain, bro. Just, you know what I'm talking about? Like, that was a stripping that I wasn't, it just felt so disempowering. Like, I got booked from afar. You mean to tell me? It's a nigga somewhere smelling like palm oil in a fucking in like a in a cafe somewhere in Lagos that booked the guard. Like, are you serious? I had to build my confidence up after that. But anyway, let's wrap this up. Cash Apps is below, family. I do have some good news. You know, we moving towards monetization on this channel. I just gotta wait till February the 7th. So up until then, Blue, we can't do too much controversial shit on this channel because they're gonna, you know, I can't afford no strikes. But we moving towards monetization. I'm gonna get those pennies from YouTube that they deserve to be that I deserved over the centuries, my niggas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just send $1. Yeah, somebody said we all gonna send you $1. My nigga, I do proper math. That add up.
I got booked too. I told you that, right?
What you got booked? I know you got booked. Hold on.
How you?
Nigga, I know you got booked. How about that? If I got booked, nigga, you got booked. I know that. I know that's right.
I was like, I asked the universe to book you. I was like, I don't want to get booked by myself. I said, Jesus, make sure Pope Pablo get booked too. Fuck it. I ain't going out by myself. I ain't going out by myself.
Book me for all my time, son. They booked me for my whole plate.
You said booked you for your plate?
They booked me for all my tides. Yeah, nigga. I got booked for my whole pasta plate.
Oh yeah, yeah, you got booked for your pasta plate, man. God damn it. Niggas took your lunch money. But it's all good. You feel me? I know that I got a village somewhere popping. You know what I'm talking about? I hope they spent that money wisely and not on some fucking Yeezys and shit. Huh?
Went to Gucci.
Niggas went right to Gucci. I know they did. I know they went to Balenciaga with all that bread. You know what I'm saying? Niggas went to Fashion Nova and fucking Balenciaga and blew my bread on that shit, bro. 3 tight ass jeans and them shoes that look like couches. But anyway, it's been fun. You know, tomorrow's Wednesday. We might have a surprise for y'all on the 1st of the month. Who knows? It depends on how y'all leave something in the tip jar. But we want to definitely bring back some more of the KTL classic shows. But you know, I gotta convince Blue to work with us. So, you know, like he said, he got booked. So we gotta take care of him. You got anything you want to share with them before we get out of here?
Like what?
I'm just saying. I don't know. You might have an announcement of something going on. I have no idea. You might got to pop up with the Pope coming up. Once again, if anybody's gonna be in Arizona, talk black to me. Hit me up because we're really contemplating making a special appearance out there. There's things that need to be done. I don't think I can miss. Huh?
Nigga, I'm making an appearance.
I know that. I'm just saying. I want people who are gonna be out there to tap in because I'm not just gonna make. If I go out there, and I ain't just gonna make an appearance, a special appearance. I'm doing something. I gotta be active. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not into football, my nigga. You know, and there's but so many crystals I could buy in a day. You know what I mean? So we got 2 weeks to go, or 2 strongs to go up into the kickoff. So let's make something happen. You know what I mean? But that's another day. I don't want to get into that at the moment. Let's just leave that out there. So yeah. Bashira said, hit me up. My peoples is out there. The KTL link for the tickets, it's in the description, but I'll drop it right here. It's right here. I'll put it right there. When you buy When in Rome, I'll have your information in my so I'll be able to send you the I'll take your email and I'll lock you in. Whoever buys it today, if you're watching this tomorrow on a replay, you got 24 hours up until the 1st at 11 p.m. I'm gonna give it a 24-hour window. So if you want to get a free quote unquote lecture, go ahead and get that ticket. That's our first of the month sale and whatnot. Shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony. But yeah, that part, yeah, the Vatican is getting exposed. February the 13th, when in Rome, we are cooking like we hibachi. We're gonna put the Pope on a hibachi grill. We cooking, y'all. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, with that being said, love and light to y'all. Go and follow the Patreon. Go get your information, go get your downloads and all of that good shit. You feel me? With that being said, I'm out.
It's a movie. Facts. 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 Okay, the food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grind, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. We in your city, pull up what we had.
And that's facts though, I talk factos. That's J Babe, I go Astro. Floating focused on my cash flow. We plant star seeds to make the grass grow. I'm a refloater, I do what I wanna. Stacking the winter, sunbathing the summer. My chakras aligning, I shock them like Blanco. Only Pope we acknowledge a nigga is Paulo.
At these events, I'm a god to my people. Got out the streets, yeah, we dodging a Rico. Game of roulette, I'm a casino. The game wasn't fair, yeah, the odds wasn't equal. Squad got the Chico, my squad got the Chico. Game in a drought, yeah, they starving the people. Blaming and doubt, make it harder to eat, yo. Not a placebo, this not a placebo.
The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grind, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. We in your city, pull up what we had.
Started in Richmond, art of my district. Heart of the mystics, started for biscuits. Father the isfits, martyr the misfits. God is my witness, God on my hit list. Moving the weight, we started with fitness. Moving with states, we art of the richest. Give me the blues, my heart is in Memphis. It's part of adventure, started my venture. The F is for food, the A is for art. The C is for clothes, I'm playing my part. T is for check, I'm playing it smart. S is for shelter, I stay in the park. Acres on acres, get lost in the dark. We playing a part, we playing it smart. Facts.
Okay, the food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grind, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. We in your city, pull up what we had.